Alright guys, we're back on the Cool Hub project. Like I said, this is my 2009 Ranger boat. Like I said, I'm working on the trailer. I'm replacing the brakes, I'm replacing the bearings, and I'm replacing the seals. Like I said, this boat is going on 12 years old, and I have never replaced any of those seals or bearings, and I think it's just time for it, because I had a problem with one or two of the seals leaking, and I decided just to go ahead and change everything. I've been waiting on parts for about 2 weeks, and they finally showed up, so we're going to go ahead and get started. If you remember in my last video, I took this brake assembly apart right here with all the bearings and everything. I already replaced that because I had it apart. And this one right here, it has the actual grease zerk in the front where you can pump grease in, and I had this hub replaced about 2 years ago, so that's why that was different. But the brakes, the seals, and the bearings are the same. So we're going to go ahead and start with taking this one off and getting the seals and the brakes and the brakes and the bearings replaced in this one first, and then I go to the other side and I show you one of those that has the Cool Hub deal on it. So let's get this wheel off first and get started. Okay, to get everything apart, this is just like a car. It has two slide pins, one at the top, one at the bottom. We had to take those off to get the caliper off. Then we had to come to the front and take the cotter pin out and the capsule nut, and that whole brake rotor will come off with the seals and the bearings inside of it. So we're going to start by getting these slide pins out. This is what the pin looks like. This one's not too bad. It doesn't have any rust or anything on it, so we'll clean it up when we put it back in and put some grease on it. This is the other pin. They are the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes at the top, which one goes at the bottom. Like I said, now we can get the caliper off. It does have a little tension on the rotor, so see if we can just get the pressure off of it. And it will come off. It's at the top here, so let's try to get the outside one off first. That's the outside one's got a little clip on it too. That's going to make me have to get my C-clamp and push that back before I can get that off. But that's not a big deal. We need to push that plunger back anyway, so this is just a step before I would normally do it. And to let you know, I did go up in the front and take my brake fluid reservoir cap, and I loosened it where I really took it off, but I just put it on top for any of that fluid. It will go back into the reservoir and not try to push that cap off. Okay, now that I got that pushed back, maybe it'll let me get it off now. And it did. So like I said, that's the little clips that's holding it in there. And the problem with, like I said, my brakes are wearing. You can see that groove that's on that brake pad there. So it's about time to change these. So next, we want to try to get this cotter pin out the way. We want to try to take care of this because we're going to reuse it. So as you can see, it doesn't take much to get this castle bolt off because it's not supposed to be super tight anyway. But we got a castle nut, we got a washer behind it. I'm just trying to clean it up a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Then we, like I said, we got a washer. It's good as everything's good and oily, so it means it's doing its job. So we just got a washer. And then behind the washer we got the first set of bearings, and the only, well, it's not the only way, but I'm just gonna pull it off. That way it'll come pulling, it'll fall on out. And like I said, we're gonna replace this bearing, so it's not a big deal. Then if we pull it all the way off, we can see the back side has a different kind of little deal on the back here. Looks like it's protecting the seal because the seal is inside. But we'll go to the bench and look further at this. Alright, now that we're at the bench, tell you the truth, I have never seen one of these on. Like I said, this is the one that's been replaced before, so this is something different. Looks like just a protective little cap or something. I don't know exactly what that is, but we'll put it back on there. Like I said, right here is the actual seal, and we got to get that off to get to the bearing that's behind that. So I got my trusty seal puller and see if we can get that off. I guess the best method for that is just pulling on it instead of beating on it. But that's the old seal. Throw that in the trash before it gets everything oily and greasy. And this is the back set of bearings here. Like I said, these are the new set, and this is the old set. And I'm gonna throw that in the trash too, cause I don't see me reusing that. And I'm just going to clean around the edge here. I'm not going to remove any of that oil in there because I'm going to put it right back on the boat, and that oil is still good. It's not been leaking or anything like that. And the new set of bearings, I'm going to get some grease and we're going to grease these up. I'm going to lightly grease these this bearing up just because I know I should do that. I got some of the red tacky. That's some good grease. It's real sticky, and I've been using it for years, and that little container been lasting me for a long time. I don't want to put too terribly much in there because they two different oils, but I don't want it to be dry. And what I'm trying to do is push that oil in this little crease here, little cavity, by just pushing down on my hand and turn it and pushing down, turn it. I'm gonna just rub my finger on the race that's in here that this bearing roll on, just to make sure there's no nicks or anything that's would tear this bearing up. And I'm just gonna drop it back in there. Now that we got that in, this is the new seal, and this is what they call a triple seal. It's got, I'm pretty sure you guys can't see that, but it's a triple ring around the inside of this. A lot of them is double. This one's actually triple, so hopefully that means better. So I'm just gonna put that, try to get it started by hand, and I'm gonna take my trusty little mallet Come on, seal, don't be difficult. I can almost push it in there with my hand. Hope y'all not jumping too bad. Alright, so we got that in there. I'm just going to get a little bit of that grease in there and just rub around the inner side of that seal just to make sure we got a little grease on there when we put it back in there. And we're going to put the little dust cap back on it, whatever that is. Then we're going to flip it over. I'm not going to put the new front seal in, not seal but bearing in, until I get back out at the boat. But I'm going to go ahead and grease it up some just to get that part out the way. Alright guys, we'll meet you back at the boat. So now that we got that cleaned off, we can put this caliper back with the bearing and everything in it. And then we want to slip the front bearing in. So we're just going to place that in there, trying to hold everything together before we can get our washer, because everything wants to slide out without the nut on it. Then the calcium nut still trying to keep tension on the back part of it, keep everything slid to the back. Some people say you need a little drag on this nut. You don't want to tighten it too much, but you want to tighten it until you can feel the actual not caliper, but the actual rotor have a little resistance to it. That's what I believe, but some people say you just need it on there tight enough to keep everything together, but you don't want it to have any rock back and forth, any kind of play in it. I'm just looking for the cotter pin hole. That's one thing you got to line up. This part is just feel. I haven't looked for any, but I haven't never seen anybody talk about a torque setting on that boat, because like I said, you can unloosen it with your hand. So you don't want too much pressure pushing on those bearings. Now I'm going to get my cotter pin. Reinstall that. And we're basically done with that part of it. Replacing the bearings and seals. Now we got to replace the brakes. Okay, this is the new set of brakes, nice ceramic brakes. And we just need to pop them into the actual caliper here. Make sure you see it's got a crown on it, and you want your brakes to match the roundness of the top of the caliper. So I'm going to put this back one in first because it gave me trouble about coming out last. Then this one here, the outside one, like I said, it's got the little clip too with the little hangers on the top. You want to put the clip inside. Here, which is kind of tricky. Okay, this part right here just got to rest on these two top pin, not pins, but little ledges here. Hope you guys see that. So that's in there right now. So we're gonna just, because we pushed the plunger back in when we took the brakes off, so we don't have to do that step now. So that would be the next step if you didn't do that. We're going to see if that'll hold right there before we can get the slide pins together. What I have here is just some brake grease that's in this little pack here. And I'm going to squeeze out some on this pin. And I just want to slob it on there. That's the word for today, slob. And I did put some red Loctite on the top of the threads here. You don't want this bolt to back out because your brakes fall off. So we're just going to put that back in there and see if we can get her tightened back up. And we want to go until she stops. And put a little on the end of it. We're just going to do the next one the same way. Just put a little grease on it. Alright, so we're done with the brakes. We're done with the seals. Replacing the bearings. And the only thing I got left for this one is to pump grease into it. I'm going to go to the other side, do the other side, and I just want to show you the cool hub portion of the other side. Like I said, the brakes are the same, the bearings are the same. The only thing different from this one and the other ones, you have to put gear oil in the front here instead of just pumping grease in the greaser. So when I get over there, I'll show you that part. Alright, I told you I was going to bring you back when I do one of the cool hubs on the other side of the boat here. I got all the brakes changed all the way around. This is my last one I'm going to do, I need to do. All we got to do is just put the cap on. The cap just screws on. And let me take this back off and show you. And this cap does have a gasket around it. So you want to be able to put this cap on tight enough to get that gasket to actually compress. So I just got a big pair of pliers and my screwdriver here. My pliers are not open far enough. You want to get that on there pretty tight without cracking it. So like I said, that gasket, you want it to compress so it won't leak. And now that we got that on, we got to take the plug off the front here. I just got a screwdriver and want to pop that plug out the front. Believe it or not, I have people in other videos talk about the cool hubs you feel from the side. Some cool hubs have a fill or drain plug on the top side of the caliper, but mine doesn't. I just want to show you guys that, so I won't get that coming again. So there's no way other than the front here to actually fill this this hub. So I'm not going to tell you what kind of oil to put in. This is 80, 90 gear oil. You have to do the research on your own. I don't want to say what oil to use and you guys use it and something happens. So what I do is I put some oil in there. Then I just spin it around a couple times, spin it around. I'm trying to get this oil to work all the way back to the back bearing. And it's going to take a while. You're going to have to do this probably 4 or 5 times over the next day or two. Especially if it's cool outside and your oil's been in your garage or somewhere where it's cool. You take your oil in the house, the day before for it to stay warm, for it to flow real good. So as you can see, some trying to come out, and I'm gonna fill it up as far as I can get it, and I'm gonna halfway put the plug in there. Then I'm gonna try to fill much as possible without getting it to spill all over the place. Then I'm gonna put the plug back in. Then I'm just gonna spin it around, just trying to get that oil to work to the back. Like I said, in another 10 minutes or so, I'll come by and put some more in there and do the same thing. But you're gonna have to do that several times over the next day or two for that whole reservoir. You want that reservoir full with oil, you know, halfway, at least halfway. But I'd rather have more than not enough. So, like I said, I will next 10 minutes or so I will come back and pull that plug out halfway, not all the way out, just halfway, and put some more in it, and just like I said, do that over the next day or two for you'll have enough oil in there, because there's no way other than doing it this way to figure out how much oil you have in there. So that's pretty much just the way I do it. Like I said, I've done them all that way except for the one over there that has the actual grease zerk on the front of it. But other than that, without putting the wheels back on, I'm done. So, alright guys, we done. Like I said, I got all the brakes all the way around, got the bearings changed, the seals in, and like I said, the process of putting oil in these cool hubs will be over the next day or two. Other than that, you might have to bleed your brakes. I don't think you will. If you didn't take any brake lines loose, you shouldn't have to, but if you do, that'll probably be another video, or you do your research on that. But like I said, with these dual axle trailers, you have 4 brake calibers, but you only have 1 bleed screw, and that's on this tire right here. The rest of them, you bleed them from this 1 caliber right here. So other than that, guys, I believe I don't got anything else. Like I said, I'm just getting ready for the fishing season coming up here soon. Like I said, I got my carport modified so I can get my boat in here the right way, and I guess my next video, so I'm trying to come up with different way of storing soft plastics in my boat. So that might be another video down the road here soon. But other than that, guys, if you hadn't subscribed, please do. Like I said, it always helps. Believe me, if everybody that watched the video subscribe, I'll be doing well. Other than that, guys, I'm gonna be out of here. Thanks for watching.